I'm a new home buyer. I would like to buy a house, but how much do I have to allocate in order for me to buy a house? Hi, I'm Vicky Hao and welcome back to my YouTube channel again, and today we are going to talk about how much do you need to allocate for your new property. Well, if you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, please subscribe on the YouTube channel button and you will not miss out on any of my new videos. If you are buying a property, regardless of whether you are buying a new property or a sub-sale, you only require to pay a few types of costs. Now the first one is your legal fees. Now legal fees are two types, which is one is the loan agreement part, the other one is your sales and purchase agreement part. Now both of these legal fees depending on how much you bought for your property. Now if you are buying a very expensive property, of course your legal fees will be much higher. That's why I always advise a new home buyer buy a smaller or cheaper property. The second cost that you have is your stamp duty. Now your stamp duty is depending on also how much you are buying your property, and it also depending on two sides, which is one is your loan agreement and the other one is actually your MOT. And we also have a very minimum amount of legal fees, a couple of 10 ringgit for your SMP agreement. Now your loan agreement stamp duty will actually cost you only 0.5% of your total loan amount and not the purchase price. But your stamp duty on your MOT part will depending on your SMP purchase price. So the higher amount you buy, your cost is much higher. So if you buy a smaller or cheaper property, of course your stamp duty price will be so much lower. And then here comes to your down payment. Now down payment is usually 10%, and of course it's also depending on how is your negotiation between your owner and yourself. And also certain property like new development is also close to 0% of the down payment, depending on the package that the developer offering it to you, and also it depending on the booking fee. And bear in mind that most of the time, booking fee is actually illegal. So the third one, which is the valuation cost, is only applicable when you buy a completed property or project, or you are buying a sub-sale property. And this valuation fee is also depending on how much you buy your property. If your property price is higher price, and of course your valuation fee is higher as well. Now let's say I'm buying a new property from a new development. How much money do I need to allocate? Basically, it's also depending on the package that's being offered by the developer. Some of the developer actually offering zero down payment, maybe a couple of booking fees, or they also offer free legal fees and free MOT or free stamp duty. Now please read in between the lines of each and every one's developer's package. But if it is too good to be true, I would advise you to seek for some professional advice as well. Now in conclusion, new development is so much easier and so much straightforward to buy a property with a couple of thousands of booking fees. And of course, it is so much easier for new home buyer to buy a new property. But if you are also a new home buyer, you are actually looking into buying a sub-sale property and how much you need to allocate. Here is what is your cost. First of all, you need to allocate a 10% of a down payment. It also depends on how much is your price in your SMP. It will be 10% of your SMP price. First of all, if you are confident about buying the property and you want to pay a consideration, usually you will pay a 3% of the down payment booking fees. And after that, subsequently, when you sign the SMP, you will only have to bear the remainder 7%. And when shall I pay the rest of the money? The rest of the 90% of the down payment should be paid within 3 months of signing the SMP. So please don't be late when paying off your 90% of your remainder amount, and remember to quickly get your loan when you sign your letter of offer. Now next, we have to prepare for our legal fees. Now legal fees, there are two components. Basically, one is your SMP component, the other one is your loan agreement component. If let's say, for example, we are going to buy a 500,000 property, how much do we need to allocate for our SMP legal fees? Basically, it's around 5,000 ringgit. But bear in mind, in your loan agreement, you're only paying on whatever is your loan amount. Meaning, if let's say your property is 500,000, you're only borrowing a 450,000. So your legal fees is around 4,500. Now, of course, there are also other costs involved in the legal fees component, the miscellaneous costs and also the disbursement costs. Next, we also need to prepare one more thing. When you got your loan officer will actually contact you and tell you that your valuer will come and inspect the house and value the property. So how much do we need to allocate for our valuer fees? Basically, valuer fees, there is a table of percentage that you need to follow. And let's say we also follow the example of previously, which is 500,000 property. For 500,000 property, your valuation fees is basically around 1,400. Plus disbursement came out to be around 1,800 or etc. Now last but not least, come to the biggest amount of cost, which is your stamp duty. So stamp duty also comes in two components, which is one is MOT, Memorandum of Transfer, and the other one is actually on your loan agreement. Now loan agreement part is actually very little, which is 0.5% only on your loan amount. If your property is 500,000 and you are actually taking a 90% loan, and your loan amount will come out to be 450,000, and so your loan agreement will cost around 2,250 ringgit only. But on the other hand, if you are buying a 500,000 property, your MOT amount will come out to be around 9,000 ringgit. But bear in mind, if you are a first-time home buyer, you will actually get some exemption on your MOT, and so you're only paying around 4,000 ringgit only. Last but not least, you may also want to allocate a certain amount of money for your renovation. You want to live in a comfortable place, right? So what you need to do is basically allocate some money for your hacking, your wet work, your furniture and your fittings. And all this amount of money, I will actually suggest you to allocate about approximately of 20% of your purchase price as your renovation cost. But of course, it's also depending on your budget as well. And also don't forget that you need to allocate a certain amount of money for your monthly installment. And this is what I always tell people, to allocate 3 to 6 months of your monthly installment so that you don't run into deficit. And thank you very much for watching this video. I hope that you have learned something new today. If you find this video is really good and useful for you, please give a thumbs up. And if you have any questions, please comment on below so that I can answer you in my next video. And also, if you do not want to miss any of my videos, please click on the subscribe button and also the notification button so that you will be informed every single time that I have a new video. Thank you very much and see you next week. Bye!